Namaste students. So in today's class we are going to study about some of the experiments related to the transpiration. There are a number of methods for measuring transpiration. First one is weighing method. A small lightweight potted plant can be weighed before and after the end of a certain period of time. The soil surface and the pot should be fully covered to prevent evaporation from the surface other than the plants. The loss in weight by the plant during that time is due to the loss of water by transpiration. Here in the weighing method you have to select a well watered potted plant and you have to cover this pot as well as the plant with the help of the polythene sheet also, because to avoid the evaporation of because external factors will not affect this experiment. Here you have to select a well watered potted plant and cover the polythene sheet for the pot as well as the plant also. And before keeping under the sunlight, you have to weigh this potted plant with the help of the weighing machine, and you have to note down the weight. Then you have to keep it under the sunlight for an hour or for a half an hour or 2 hours. After a particular time, you once again take that potted plant and you have to keep it in the weighing machine. You can again take the weight of the plant. So you can observe the difference in weight gives the weight loss by the potted plant due to transpiration. So when you observe the weight of the plant before the experiment, it is more than the weight of the plant after the experiment. Because when you kept under the sunlight, the plant lose some amount of water in the form of water vapor through transpiration. That's why reduces the weight. That's why we can see the differences between the weight before and after the experiment also. An improvement in the weighing method can be made by using a glass bottle linked by a rubber tube to a graduated side tube. Filled with water, the water level in the side tube falls to demonstrate loss of water through transpiration from the leaves. Here you can improve this method. You can take the plant in a glass bottle filled with water which has an attached graduated side tube. The drop in the water level in the side tube is an indicator of the loss of water due to transpiration. This volume loss can be compared with its weight loss by using volume to weight conversions. 1 cc water is equal to 1 gram. Another weighing experiment can be done by using a test tube filled with water and inserting a leafy shoot, there is no roots, and pouring some oil on the surface to prevent loss of water by evaporation. Place the test tube in a small beaker and weigh them together. Remove the intact test tube and keep it straight in the test tube stand for a few hours. Weigh it again by keeping it in the same beaker. Any difference in weight will indicate loss of water by the shoot. There are no roots to actively absorb water. The loss of water through transpiration will be much less. Here you have to take a test tube, fill the water and insert the plant and add a drop of oil because to avoid the evaporation of water from the test tube. And take this test tube in a small beaker and weigh it. Take the weight, that is initial weight. Then you can remove the test tube from the beaker, keep it for the test tube stand for a few hours. After a few hours, take the test tube, keep in the same beaker and weigh it again. And you can take the weight of the test tube, that is called as a final weight. You can observe the differences in the weight. It indicates that the plant lost the water in the form of water vapor. That is process is called transpiration. Second method, that are photometer method. Photometer is a device that measures the rate of water intake by a plant, and this water intake is almost equal to the water lost through transpiration. Photometer does not measure the water loss during transpiration. It measures the total water intake of the twig. The water taken in is consumed during photosynthesis and lost during transpiration. Here, for the photosynthesis, it will consume the 2% of water, and remaining 98% it will lost during transpiration process. A photometer are of various types, designed by various scientists to study and measure the rate of transpiration. Example: Farmer's photometer, Gano's photometer, Darwin's photometer, Garius photometer, etc. For your syllabus, only Gano's photometer is there. So in the Gano's photometer, a twig of some suitable plant cut with a sharp knife is fixed in an apparatus. You can observe the diagram. The entire apparatus is filled with water so that no air space are present. An air bubble is introduced into the horizontal graduated capillary tube, which is dipped into the beaker containing water. So how we can introduce the air bubble? We can introduce the air bubble by lifting the bent capillary tube above the colored water so that air may be sucked in due to suction pull and is again dipped into the water. As transpiration proceeds, as the water is lost from the twig, a suction force is set up which pulls the water from the beaker, and the bubble in the capillary tube moves along. The readings on the capillary tube would give the volume of water lost in a given time. The air bubble can be brought back to its original position by releasing some more water from the reservoir into the capillary tube by opening the stopcock. Here, this is the apparatus setup. You can observe in the diagram. You can insert the air bubble. We have taken the colored water because to identifying the air bubble. Here, so when the twig loses the water in the form of water vapor, it creates a suction force. When it creates a suction force, the water will move to the nearer to the plant twig. So when water moves near to the plant twig, the air bubbles also moves along with that water. So position of air bubbles changes. Before the experiment, you have to take the position of air bubbles, and after a few hours you can observe the air bubbles moves forward direction. When it creates a suction force, when water moves forward direction, along with the water, air bubbles also moves forward direction. So it indicates that how much water will consumed by the plant twig is equal to the loss of water through the transpiration. And you can again restart the experiment by leaving the water from the reservoir. You can open the stopcock, and water which are present in the reservoir, it will enter inside the capillary and push the air bubbles to the backward direction. And you can again restart the experiment. So this is the photometer method. Next, precautions in the use of photometer. First one, the photometer should be made completely watertight. You have to make it completely with the watertight. The twig should be cut obliquely to allow larger surface for the water intake, and under water to avoid suction of an air bubble into the twig, which will stop the absorption of water into the xylem. So when we cut the plant twig, we have to cut in the water only. If you cut in the air bubble will enter in the cut twig and it blocks the absorption of water. Next, limitations in the use of photometer. First one, introducing the air bubble is not very easy. The introducing of air bubble is very difficult. The twig may not remain fully alive for a long time. Any changes in the outside air temperature may affect the position of the air bubble in the capillary tube. The external factors may affect this Gano's photometer. So one more experiment. Here experiment to demonstrate the different magnitudes of transpiration from the two surfaces of a dicot leaf. Here more transpiration occurs from the undersurface of a dicot leaf. There are more stomatal openings on the undersurface of a dicot leaf and therefore more transpiration occurs from the undersurface. This can be proved by an experiment in which pieces of dry cobalt chloride paper are attached to the two surfaces of a leaf and held in position by two glass slides on either side, tied together by elastic bands or held by clips. The leaf should remain attached to its own plant. The piece of paper which is facing the upper surface of the leaf either does not turn pink or turns pink in a much longer time than the on the lower surface which turns pink much faster. Here you have to select a dicot plant. In that plant you have to take the two cobalt chloride paper. So one cobalt chloride paper you have to keep it upper surface of the one leaf. Another cobalt chloride paper you can keep lower surface of the another leaf. The leaf should be attached to the plant itself. After keeping the this dry cobalt chloride paper, you have to cover with this cobalt chloride paper with the glass slide and fix that glass slide and cobalt chloride paper to the leaf with the help of the clip or elastic bands. Why we have to cover the glass slides? Because to avoid the external moisture come in contact to this cobalt chloride paper. When external moisture came in contact to the cobalt chloride paper, it turns into pink. So that's why we have to cover with the glass slide. And you can keep it for the sunlight for a few hours. So after a few hours, you can observe the cobalt chloride paper which is fixed on the lower surface of the leaf, it turns into pink very fast compared to upper surface of the leaf. Because in the dicot plant, in the lower surface of the leaf, it has more number of stomata compared to upper surface. So the more amount of water is, the plant will lose the more amount of water from the lower surface of the leaf. That's why the cobalt chloride paper, it receives the water vapor very fast. That's why the dry cobalt chloride paper that is blue in color, it turns into pink because it dry cobalt chloride paper came to the wet condition very fast because lower surface it has a more number of stomata. So that's why the rate of transpiration is very faster in the lower surface of the dicot leaf. That's why the cobalt chloride paper in the lower surface turns into pink very fast compared to upper surface of the leaf. Leaves of some plants wilt during midday and recover in the evening. In some plants, example balsam, the leaves of the plants wilt during the midday in spite of the fact that there is plenty of water in the soil. If the sufficient amount of water is there in the soil also, it will wilt during midday. Here, in such cases, the rate of transpiration during midday exceeds the rate of absorption of water by the roots. Here, because the rate of transpiration is more when compared to rate of absorption, especially midday. The cells therefore lost turgidity. In the evening or during the night, the stomata are constricted and the temperature is not high. Therefore, there is no loss of water through transpiration and the turgidity of the leaves is reacquired and they stand out erect. Here, in the midday, the rate of transpiration is more when compared to rate of absorption of water. The cell loses its turgidity, so it will wilt. But at evening or at night, the rate of transpiration is decreases. So the cell remains in a turgid condition. And when cell undergo the turgid condition, the leaves will come to the, or plant will come to the erect position, or it recover. So because it will get the plenty of water, absorption of water will become more when compared to the transpiration. So that's why the cells will get the sufficient amount of water. The cells undergo the turgid condition and it will become to the original position, that is recover in the evening. In today's class, we have learned some of the experiments. These experiments are important. In exam, they will give the diagram and they will ask some of the questions. So these experiments are very important.